Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now, here's the guy who's about to do a full cast assessment on the cast of The Amazing Race 23, Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our special coverage previewing the upcoming season premiere of Amazing Race 23. And with me, as always, here in our regular time slot here on Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, here is the woman who knows more about The Amazing Race than anybody else I know in the entire world. It's Jessica Leese.
Hey, Rob. It is always a pleasure, and it's nice to have a regular time slot now.
Yes, we have a regular time slot, so that's going to be very exciting, and we're going to talk every Monday night and recap the show. And the format for how we're going to do this is, if you have watched the Rob Has a Podcast Big Brother coverage, that's basically what it's going to be like. It's going to be Jessica and I. We're going to try to get past contestants from The Amazing Race to join us and talk about the episode. We'll take your questions, and of course, we are live, so we want to hear from you guys. So send us your questions and comments. Use the hashtag RHAP on Twitter, or you can go directly if you're watching the video live, click it and leave your comments on our YouTube channel, which is at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube. All right, Jessica, are you fired up? Are you ready to go for another go-round of The Amazing Race?
I was born ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So it premieres on Sunday night opposite the Breaking Bad finale. Was this smart counter-programming by CBS?
Well, it's not counter-programming. It's on right before the Breaking Bad finale.
It's a lead-in.
Yeah, I think it's excellent. This is going to be like the best night of television of my entire life.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, well, very exciting for The Amazing Race 23 to kick off. So what we're going to do is Jessica and I are going to go through each of the 11 teams that are participating in Amazing Race 23, and we'll tell you what we like, what we don't like, what we think is interesting, and then we'll give you our picks for the winner. And Jessica, refresh my memory. Who did you pick as your winner last season?
Who did I pick last season?
I think you picked Max and
Max and Katie, yeah.
Yes. And I can't even remember their names.
The twins, the Doctor twins.
No, I didn't pick them. I picked
You picked Pam and Winnie, right.
Pam and Winnie, yes.
Well, we each get 2 picks. That's how this works.
That's great. Oh, this is so much better than any of the other shows I preview. I only get 1 pick. So fantastic. All right. So tell us, before we start on Amazing Race 23, is there anything of note? Did they change the format at all? Are there any new twists? Like on Survivor this season, we had to learn about 30 new twists that were taking place. On Amazing Race 23, is anything going to be different?
Not as far as I know. I haven't heard about any shocking new twists. They might roll one out, but I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward season.
Okay.
Which, personally, that's a good thing, as far as I'm concerned.
And how about, are we giving away express passes at the end of the first leg of the race?
Well, it made for some really great drama the last 2 times they've done it, so I hope they do it again.
And we did it on the Amazing Race Canada as well, so maybe it's now an Amazing Race staple.
Right. I'm kind of counting Canada as a regular season. I need to start separating my countries again.
Yeah, why don't you give us your thoughts on Amazing Race Canada, just for if people did not watch it. What was your overall takeaway on the Amazing Race Canada?
Well, to be honest, Canada kind of kicked our ass.
Whoa!
It was a great season. They had excellent casting. They made the tasks harder than most of the American Amazing Race tasks. And it didn't even suffer for not going outside of Canada. There was so much to see and so many great things they did that I feel like they could pack 5 more seasons worth of Canada stuff and not repeat anything.
Oh my God! So if they announced that there was going to be a Amazing Race that was only going to be in the United States, just like they did with the family one way back when, do you think that it could actually be good in all U.S. Amazing Race, or was there something in particular that was beyond just the not leaving Canada?
Well, they would have to compensate. I mean, Canada did this very well. They'd have to compensate for the lack of geographical diversity by bringing in some tasks that were more interesting and more difficult.
Okay.
I think it could be done. It would be hard, but I think it could be done.
All right. So, all right, so let's jump into our cast assessment of the 11 new teams that will be taking part in Amazing Race 23. All right, so here we go. Let's start with team number 1. They are Allie and Ashley. I've called them the Ice Kababes. They are the, what is their official name? They are Ice Crew Girls for the LA Kings?
Yes, they are members of the Ice Crew.
Okay. They claim they make over 400 appearances a year as part of the LA Kings Ice Crew Girls. How is this possible?
I feel like they must pay them better than they pay other professional sports pep squads.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't know what an ice crew did, so I had to do some research. I was hoping that it meant that they drove the Zamboni, but that is apparently not what they do.
No. What do they do?
They come out whenever there's a timeout and between periods, they come out with shovels, and they scoop all of the slushy stuff off of the ice to clean it up for the next time the players come out.
Yeah.
And apparently in smaller market cities, they just have a bunch of random people in tracksuits, but because it's LA, they gotta dress up in skimpy outfits.
Do they have a potato gun that shoots T-shirts?
I assume they do.
Yes.
In fact, I have in my notes, they also man the T-shirt gun. So.
Oh, fantastic. Of Allie and Ashley, at any point this season, will we be able to distinguish one from the other?
At any point during the season, are we going to try? Why bother?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about. Do we think that they will be around for a while here on The Amazing Race?
Well, they're very cute, so they're going to have a fan base. But I don't see them being great at racing. I think they'll probably stick around, I'd say middle of the pack. I don't think they're going to win, but I don't see them going out first either.
Will they be better or worse than last season's team of blonde racers, the country music singers?
I think they'll be worse.
Yeah, I think so too. I didn't come away particularly impressed with Allie and Ashley from their video.
Yeah, they didn't do anything particularly interesting. That doesn't mean they're not going to on the race, but initial impression is not existent.
Yeah.
I don't really have one.
As much as I can on this podcast, I feel like I want to assess the teams like Giles from Whodunit. So if you will allow me that, can I ask? So do you think that Allie and Ashley will be left out in the cold?
Sure. Sure.
Do you think this season they'll be skating on thin ice?
I feel like you need to have sunglasses and you need to have that scream from "Won't Get Fooled Again" whenever you do these things.
Sure. Yes, I'm not particularly taken with Allie and Ashley. I don't think that they're going to get particularly far in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them be the first out.
That would surprise me, because I feel like the race almost conspires to keep the cute girls in long enough to keep the straight males.
Conspiracy. Interesting. Because
and also there are some teams that are going to do worse, because there are teams that kind of look like they're going to be actively bad, but we're going to get to that.
Okay. I feel like in my predictions here, we've done this a couple of times, and I feel like I'm just looking for who is going to be able to avoid the major meltdown. And I don't know if Allie and Ashley, they have a particularly tough task, and we saw this a lot last season. It's like, oh my God, this is so tough. I give up. Let's just quit, because I can't do this. And I kind of feel like I know they are the LA Kings, the prestigious ice crew members of the LA Kings, but I just don't know if they hit a bump in the ice. I don't know if they're going to be able to move on and power through.
Well, I got to give them credit, though. It's cold on that rink, and they aren't wearing very much. They got to be a little bit tough.
Okay. All right. Are you interested in the famous people that Allie and Ashley are most like?
No.
I
have a feeling there's a lot of them,
in case anybody is, so Allie, the famous person that reminds her of herself is Kate Hudson, and the famous person that Ashley reminds herself of is Emma Stone. Okay? There you
Okay. I mean, at least to give them credit, like a lot of people, when they fill out the famous person that they think they're most like, they put somebody they think they look like,
go.
and it sounds like they might have actually considered temperament and other things, so they get props for that.
Yeah. Now, both of them, they claimed they were literally willing to do anything to win the race. Do you think that Allie and Ashley are fodder for a showmance on the race this season?
Well, I think that was the hope when they got cast.
Yeah. All right. Ooh. So should we, as we go along, should we try to set them up? Who are they going to showmance with?
Yeah, that's a good question. Who are they going to showmance with?
Okay, well, let's see as we go along. Maybe we'll find a showmance for Allie and Ashley. But overall, I say the arrow's pointing down for our Ice Queens.
Yeah, I don't feel like they have a shot at winning.
Okay. Maybe
But
they'll surprise us.
yeah, I'm always hoping for a surprise, so.
Okay. All right, let's look at our second team tonight. This is Brandon and Adam, and they are bearded friends. Now, Jessica, we've had a lot of beards, I feel like, on reality TV over the years. I feel like some people at CBS seem very impressed if you have a beard.
Yeah, well, I mean, it says that you don't care what other people think of your face. I think.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not taken, it doesn't, I don't get very impressed with a long beard.
Yeah, I mean, it works very well for ZZ Top, but I feel like everybody else is just kind of copying them.
So, now how do these two guys know each other?
They have been friends since they were kids, apparently.
Yeah.
And I have this great picture in my mind of like these two little boys growing up together and deciding when we become adults, we're going to have long beards and live out in the woods and be off the grid.
Yeah.
It's a lovely picture.
I can't really get a good sense of what these guys are. Are they sort of like are they hippies, or are they sort of like survivalist type guys? Like, are they pretty much ready for The Walking Dead to happen? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, I thought they were really hard to pigeonhole too. They're not hippies so much as they're metal. Maybe you could be a metal hippie, I don't know.
Oh, really?
At least one of them plays in a metal band.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they like to, like, one of them is big into, he has a co-op and they're off the grid and they do organic farming, which is very hippie, so.
Yeah, so Adam is the one, he has an organic farm and he lives there and he's like completely self-sufficient and he could live on $5,000 a year. So, Jessica, for him, if he wins the Amazing Race, is it actually like he's winning $20 million?
Could be.
Yeah.
Or maybe because he doesn't know how to handle a large amount of money, he'll end up spending it all on beard grooming tools and farm equipment.
Now, what makes you think that these guys would spend money on beard grooming tools?
Well, they clearly need it.
Well, but you would think that beard grooming tools is not like an expensive operation that they would need to win the money to be able to get. You would think they'd be able to get their hands on some beard grooming tools pretty easily if that was one of their goals.
Well, there's kind of different gradations in the quality of the beard grooming apparatus.
Yeah.
I guess. They can get one that's like silver plated or something.
So what's your take on these guys? We've said it's a little tough to get a good read on them. Do you think that they will fare well in Amazing Race 23?
Well, they claim that they have done way more traveling than it would appear on first glance, but a big recurring theme in their videos and on their questionnaire was that they're very excitable, and when they get all, to use their actual term, amped up and screaming, they can be prone to missing details, which, of course, is not a good thing on The Amazing Race.
Yes. Now, why are they going to be screaming and amped up?
They said it's their tendency. It's how they are frequently. So if they're like that in their normal life, when they're running around a foreign country, it's going to be turned up to 11.
Yeah. I think these guys are going to be okay, but I don't see them going the distance.
Yeah, I don't see them doing very well, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. So you think are they out before or after the Ice Queens?
I think before,
Whoa.
but it could be. I think they'll be close. Their eliminations will be close together.
They'll be close together. I think that these guys are around for a little bit. I think that they're getting like to final six or final seven.
You know, they're the character team, so I guess that's the hope.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see what happens with Brandon and Adam. These guys could go either way. They could be annoying or they could be really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I feel like that's the case with a lot of the teams this season.
Could go either way. All right, so let's go to our NFL buddies. This is Chester and Ephraim. They are lifelong friends, and they are former NFL football players, and they even played on the same team on the Houston Texans at one point, as demonstrated by their matching Houston Texans jerseys.
Yeah, but to be honest, I was not feeling these guys, and then I found out a little bit more about how they know each other, and it's way more than just being teammates. It's really kind of a cool story.
Yeah, well, you want to tell it? It was actually the subject of a commercial at one point, right?
Yeah, at the 2008 Super Bowl, there was a commercial that aired that starred these guys.
Okay, well, now they're on The Amazing Race, so
Yeah,
dreams can come true.
I mean, it's a fantastic story, and it makes me like them. I mean, I don't usually go for the famous professional athlete teams because I feel like if you already have $1 million, what is my incentive to want you to have more $1 million? But
yeah, well, please share the story for people who don't know it, because I could not accurately tell it.
Okay, well, I wrote it down, so.
Okay.
They were. I feel like if these guys were in a relationship, we'd call it a meet cute. But they were both.
Would you call it a meet cute?
A meet cute, that's what they call it. You get in a situation and it's kind of quirky and the circumstance means that you're going to have a strong bond.
Okay, it's like that. It's like, okay, well, this is going to work because it was such a crazy story how they met.
Yeah, they were both students at San Diego State, and Ephraim was playing on the football team, and he would go to the supermarket and buy his groceries, and the guy that bagged his groceries all the time was Chester. And they got to talking one day, and Ephraim had a really nice car, and Chester was like, "That's a great car. How do you get a car like that?" And Ephraim said, "You got to play football." And Chester said, "Okay, I'll play football." And it turns out he'd played a little bit in high school, but he was more of a band geek. And he walked onto the team, ended up being way better than Ephraim, and eventually they both got drafted into the NFL, and after a couple of years wound up on the same team for a while.
Yeah. Now, Nick Fishman in the chat is saying it's Ephraim, not Ephraim.
Ephraim. Okay.
Ephraim. Okay. So
he says so. I'm not a football person.
We'll try that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither one of these guys were big deal NFL players. For the record, I know that sometimes it's like if you're not a sports fan, it's hard to tell. Like, oh, this guy's a former, and like I didn't know anything about the hockey players from last year. I didn't know if those guys were all-stars or complete scrubs. But these guys are probably a little closer to the not all-star caliber player.
Okay, I felt like I got the sense that they were. I got the sense they were a little more famous than Bates and Anthony, but
yeah, probably a little bit. But that's probably not saying much.
Yeah, on a scale of like Bates and Anthony to on a scale of Bates and Anthony to Jimmy Johnson, they're like well below Jeff Kent.
Yeah, I'd say so. But they seem like fun guys.
Yeah, I like them. I feel like I know a lot about them, and that makes me like them.
Yeah, and I think that they will be fun to watch, but I do not think that they have a shot here to go the distance.
Yeah, I have a feeling that for as long as they're on, we're going to see a lot of them, but I don't know how long that's going to last. We're going to be sorry when they're eliminated.
Yeah, I see a point where there's like a dance that has to be choreographed, and one of them is like trying to do it over and over, and the other one is like besides themselves, like, oh my god, and you're like going over and over and over and trying to do it again. Could be a Mark and Bopper situation here.
Yeah, I feel like if we're gonna put up some Amazing Race prop bets, we gotta go with. We got to figure out who's the team that is most likely to quit a task and take a penalty, and I think it might be these guys.
Oh, And then we'll also need to know which professional sports representative team goes furthest, whether you want to go hockey, baseball, or NFL.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a multi-sport pileup in here.
Yeah. So I think we like these guys. We think they're going to be fun, but they probably won't go too far into the game.
Yeah, I don't see them winning.
Yeah. Do you think that they will be able to recapture any of the magic of the hockey players from last season, or will the fact that the hockey players won last season make these guys targets?
Well, insofar as someone can be a target on The Amazing Race, I think they are obvious targets because A, they're professional athletes, and B, they're bigger than everybody else, so they kind of stand out.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll see what happens with Chester and Ephraim and see how far they go. Okay. Now here's another one, another team that we might have some trouble pronouncing their names. We're gonna go with HB and Nina. Is that her name?
Nina, I think.
Nina.
I watched the video. They're Haskote and Nina, I think.
Okay,
I watched the video yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take him up on that offer and call him HB, and they are father and daughter.
Wasn't HB also Siri's husband on Survivor?
That's a good memory. Well, yes, I mean that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And so. Yes, and a very ethnically diverse cast of The Amazing Race this season.
Yeah, well, that's always a good thing.
Yes, that's gonna be fun. So HB and Nina, that he seems like a somewhat of a strict dad.
Yeah, I don't think he's like a mean dad. I think he's just very demanding. Like, I get the sense he's the kind of dad who would say things like, "Well, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed."
Yes.
Like, you get a lot of that.
Yes, he seems also like a worst-case scenario if you were to date Nina to when she says, well, I'd really like you to meet my parents. This is probably one of the worst outcomes you could hope for because he seems like he's going to be quite a ball breaker.
Yeah, that's certainly possible.
Yes. Is Nina single?
I don't know. I think she is, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, only 27. Only 27.
Yeah, well, you know the situation that I like the best is when there's a parent-child team and the child gets involved in a showmance. Like, how awkward is that? It's one of my favorite things.
It is awkward, but I guarantee you, as long as HB is around, Nina is not showmancing on This Amazing Race. And but the fact I don't see a significant other at this point, I wonder if this is a factor. The very overprotective HB in the picture.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't mentioned one, but maybe she's trying to keep it from him.
Yeah. Will Olson in the chat room calls her Brooklyn Nine-Nina. I like that.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
That could stick. All right. So the history of father and daughter teams on The Amazing Race, Jessica, is it a good one?
Oh, we've had some father-daughter teams that have done all right. In recent years, we had Ron and Christina, who I felt like that's the dynamic that these guys reminded me of. Maybe a little less intense and a little more passive-aggressive, but Ron and Christina got second place in their season, and they got asked back for an all-star season, so I think it bodes well.
I worry about HB on the race because I watched in their video and they were talking about he's like, hey, I am a doctor in the ER, and I guess there's a lot of that going around this season, and he's like, I'm the only doctor there. Whatever I say does. Nobody questions me, and it seems like there is going to be a point where there is a decision that needs to be made, and they may have disagreements on this decision that has to be made, and I could see it erupting into a large conflict.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I could also see them getting eliminated because of something he did, and then they'll have this like touching moment where she says, "You could never let me down, Dad."
No, well, that would be nice.
And then he's going to blame himself, and he'll have a real teachable moment there.
All right. Give me the spot in the show where they go out. How many people are left when HB and Nina are eliminated? Assume they don't win.
I think they go out 6th or 7th.
Yeah. I think they'll be tough while they're out there, but I feel like they just don't have what it takes to get to the end here.
Yeah, no, they're definitely a middle-of-the-pack team.
All right. Well, let's go. Let's go to our fifth team, which is Jason and Amy dating Bostonians.
Ooh, a dating couple.
Boy,
So
yeah,
rare.
yes. Boy, those people from Boston are always so feisty on these reality shows.
Yeah, I mean,
There
it
must be
makes for
something
good
in the water
television.
there. It makes them so competitive. Everybody from Boston.
Yeah, it's got the it's it's got the Red Sox and Matt Damon and
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. A lot of. So what? You think you're better than me? A lot of. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of we're number one, and I think we have a lot of that here with Jason and Amy.
Yeah, I get a lot of that. They got their Boston Strong T-shirts on.
Yes. All right. Well, that's a noble cause that they're racing to raise awareness about with the Boston Massacre that happened back. What was that? May or June?
It
Um,
was during the marathon, and it was earlier. It was like April, I think.
okay. Yeah. Around the time that's when they had in Patriots Day over in Boston. So they're dating a couple and they want to test their relationship. Is going on the Amazing Race a good way to test a relationship? And if so, why do you need to test your relationship?
Well, they feel like they want to take the next step,
Okay.
and it's always a hook that the casting people like because they think there's always a small chance that they're going to test their relationship and it's going to fail, and it's going to fail on TV.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's fun. That's always fun.
yeah, that's why that keeps happening. And apparently, frequently, it does end up ending in failure.
Do you think that there's a possibility that Jason and Amy turn out to be the villains of this season?
I think they are too boring to be the villains of the season.
Yeah, I could go either way. I could go could go either way. We really anticipated that Max and Katie were going to be the villains last season, and it really never happened, despite what they were saying in the beginning of the season. But these guys are very competitive, and I wonder if somebody gets in their way, could we see some sparks?
Yeah, we could see. I could definitely see them having some kind of airport altercation with another team where somebody says something ugly. Because Jason does say about Amy that she is a Terra.
Yeah, well, that'll be good. We like terrors.
Yeah, I guess we do. One thing I saw on their questionnaire, and I saw this on a few people's questionnaires, and I wanted to bring this up. Amy's biggest fear about traveling internationally is that she might get taken.
Yes.
And one of the beardy guys said the same thing, and Nina said the same thing. So, is this a realistic concern on the race?
I don't know. It could be how about that Tom Hanks movie where they get, taken over by pirates? Could the Amazing Race production get taken over by pirates and held hostage?
I feel like that would make for a far more interesting season than we've had in recent years. So
Yeah.
I, for one, would be rooting for it. Go
At
Pirates.
At this roadblock, the teams will be captured by pirates and need to figure out a way to escape. When they do escape from custody of the pirates, they'll receive the next clue to go to the go to the match.
Liam Neeson will hand them their next clue.
Yeah, okay. That's good. How about Jason and Amy? Now, do you know what Jason does for a living?
Yes, he's Mr. Plow.
Yes, that's his name. That
His name again.
is Mr. Plow. So he luckily this season of The Amazing Race, I believe, took place over the summer, so Jason was able to get off of work and not have to plow all of the snow that was going to befall New England.
Yeah, he got very lucky. It was the slow season for the plow industry.
Yes. If they go to a cold weather climate, will this be an advantage for Jason and Amy?
I don't see it being an advantage unless the task is specifically to drive a plow, but, maybe he got his start with a snow shovel and worked his way up.
Okay. Well, just for that, I hope they make it to the cold weather leg of the race.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
We'll see them in their element. Do you think Jason and Amy will do well on The Amazing Race?
Well, they are possibly the most boring team on the race, so I'm going to say yes.
Yeah,
They're going to go all the way.
they're in the final three. I didn't think that they were. I saw more potential with them, I think, than you did. But I do think that there's a chance, if we were to sort of like come up with the probabilities here, there is probably a 50% chance that they are very, very boring, but there's also a 50% chance that they are at least somewhat interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I see pageant, and I immediately think boring.
Yeah.
Because I feel like 9 out of 10 pageant contestants that we get on The Amazing Race end up being kind of bland.
Yeah.
But I'm always hoping to be surprised.
Okay. So we'll see what happens with Jason and Amy. They're very competitive, and that's what I'm hanging my hopes on, what could make there be some conflict there. All right.
I mean, you got to be driven, and being driven is usually a good thing for teams. So.
Okay. How about another interesting team? How about the Afghanimals? Is that what?
Afghanimals, yeah.
Afghanimals. Leo and Jamal, they are lifelong friends with family in Afghanistan.
Yep, they are cousins, in fact. And I think it's the third cousin team we've had on the race.
Okay. And how have cousin teams fared before on The Amazing Race?
Well, there was one cousin team that I barely remember that did not do very well, and then, of course, one of the all-time most memorable teams on The Amazing Race, Sharla and Myrna, were cousins.
Okay. So we are really representing Afghanistan here, that they have T-shirts with Afghanistan on them. So at least I think that's somewhat interesting to have that as an Amazing Race team's uniform.
Yeah, it's certainly new and different.
Yeah. Now, what are they doing with the Afghanimals? I don't understand. They talk like animals? What do they do impressions of animals?
Well, Jamal says that he's a big cat fanatic, whatever that means. I don't know if that means he's into big cats. Big Brother? Oh. I assume you watch all of the CBS reality shows if you get cast on one.
Or if you have a number of cats. I think there's also a strong correlation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I feel like these guys are going to go, they're either going to be really entertaining and we're going to like them a lot, or they're going to get on our last nerve and we're going to hate them and want them off of our screen. And I can't tell which it is yet.
Well, yeah, we will see. Now, is there some concern here after the big controversy on the last season of The Amazing Race, when the race went to Vietnam, and we had the whole thing, is The Amazing Race insensitive? Do you think that this will at all get political, and some sort of, will we have any discussion about the ongoing military action in Afghanistan?
I don't think so. I think these guys have been in the States their whole lives. They said their parents came over, and their parents probably came over to get away from Afghanistan, and I think they've tried to assimilate pretty hard. So I don't think it's going to be a huge concern to them.
Okay. That one of the goals of Leo is, I hope to become closer to my cousin and show the entire world that Afghans are great, fun people, and not just what we are portrayed by in the media. So
exactly, they're out to bust the stereotype.
Yes. This is shades of when Kaysar was first on Big Brother and Big Brother 6, right in the early days of the Iraq War. This could be very, very interesting.
Yeah, it could be great. And the other thing I like about these guys is they are the only team of the 11 teams who claim that they're going to use flirting to get themselves further in the race.
Oh, showmance with the Ice Queens?
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's pretty much they're the only option. I think everybody else is coupled up, or they're either coupled up or they're the wrong gender. So I think pretty much if they're not going to hook up with the Afghanimals, they're not going to hook up with anybody.
Do you think that there's a possibility that the Ice Queens could go for the Afghanimals?
They could. I mean, they seem like they're going to try very hard to be charming.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Where do you think Leo and Jamal end up finishing the race?
I suspect they're going to do all right. I think they're going to go pretty far.
Okay. Yeah, I think that they will probably do pretty well too. I think that
I have a good feeling about them.
They'll be around for a while. All right.
Yeah.
Could be in the mix here. All right. How about another team of sports-related female team? Here are Nikki and Kim, the baseball wives.
The baseball bunnies, they called themselves.
Oh boy. All right. So let's go back to let's talk about Nikki and Kim and their significant others. Now,
Okay.
again, all right. What did you have a question about this?
Well, yeah, I did have a question about this because I feel like I can't name more than 5 current baseball players who don't play for the Mets. So these guys are unfamiliar to me, and I can't tell if they're Jeff Kent famous or less famous than that.
I think they're less famous than that. I mean, I think that they're somewhere. They're respected, significant others. David DeJesus. He played for the Kansas City Royals, the Oakland Athletics, the Chicago Cubs, and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. I don't believe that he is a an all-star baseball player. I know let me get the Wikipedia open and we'll fact check that. But I don't believe that he is a superstar. And I think he's actually the more famous of the two. Who is the other baseball player?
Chris Getz, I think his name is.
Okay. So let's see. David DeJesus. He is a professional baseball outfielder. He has played in the MLB since 2003, and he does not seem to have any accolades. His career batting average is 279. 86 home runs. He has 513 RBIs. So it seems like a bit of a journeyman in his career.
Yeah. But the league minimum is still like 200 grand, so these guys aren't hurting for money.
Yeah, and the other guy who is what's the name of the other baseball player?
Chris Getz. Is that the one we just looked up, or is that the other one?
No, we looked up David DeJesus.
Yeah.
And Chris Getz. He is a second baseman, and he is 30, and his lifetime batting average is a 253 through August 21st. Only 3 home runs in his career, 82 stolen bases. So again, both these guys are journeymen. Now again, hey, they are Major League Baseball players, and only about 30 million times better at what they do than what I do. But we're not talking about this is not Jeff Kent we're talking about.
Yeah, no, they're relative unknowns. I'm glad to have that confirmed.
Yes, and DeJesus is the more notable player.
Yeah, I feel like people kind of knew who Kim was.
Yeah. All right, so Kim DeJesus, she is okay. So they are friends from the Kansas City Royals. Do we think that the baseball bunnies could do well here on The Amazing Race?
Yeah, they seem competitive. Although I got to point out, they kind of throw like girls. I feel like if you're married to a baseball player, you should at least be able to throw a baseball.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't think they're going to go particularly far. I hope I'm wrong about this.
Yeah, I feel like of the 2 all-female teams, I feel like they're going to go further, but that's just a hunch. I don't have anything to back that up.
Yeah, I think they seem like they are more with it than the
Ice Kababes.
No, I'm trying not to be chauvinistic here, Jessica.
Well, no. Chauvinistic would be like Ice Kabitches.
Oh.
I think Ice Kababes is okay.
Yeah, I'll stick with Ice Queens. I think that the baseball bunnies seem like they have a little more on the ball than the Ice Queens in my mind.
Yeah, they seem a little more grounded.
Yes, or grounders. So, do you think that they have a chance to make it past halfway?
Are you saying are they going to strike out or are they going to score a home run?
Sure.
I think they're going to do well. I have a good feeling about them.
Yeah. Do you think that there is a chance, if they are the last team to arrive to the mat, that Phil will say to them, "I'm sorry to inform you that you're out"?
Well, that's the hope.
So, yeah, and maybe.
But I feel like it's Phil. He's going to use like a cricket metaphor or something.
And maybe every time they make it to the mat, it's like, "You are safe." So there you go. Nikki and Kim, who let's see how they do. Maybe I just feel like that this would be more fun if they were sort of like the divorced baseball wives, and maybe they were going to be like sort of like a little crazier. I feel like they're going to be kind of grounded.
Yeah, they don't have any mutual bitterness to bond over.
Yeah, we need like Anna Benson or like some jaded professional sports wives.
Yeah, they're a little too content with their lot.
Yeah. So it seems like they're like going on for like they want to come off like being very respectable, and I feel like that's
Yeah.
not as much fun. All right.
Yeah, no.
How about Rowan and Shane? Bingo. The
Oh
Bingo
boy.
Bunny.
Oh, these guys.
Now they remind me a lot of the team from Amazing Race Canada. Um, who which team am I thinking of? Who were the older guys on Amazing Race Canada?
The older guys on Amazing Race Canada.
Wasn't there a team of older gay guys on Amazing Race
Yeah, the
Canada?
Gay Cowboys.
Yes.
Jamie and Pierre.
Yes. I feel like
That's an interesting comparison.
yeah. I feel like we see this a lot on the Amazing Race. The older gay friends.
Yeah, I don't even know if I got like the gay pigeonhole so much as like the older male super fans who have been watching the show for years and think that it's going to be awesome travel times.
Yeah. So now, can we get some more explanation on what these guys do? They are in a traveling like dinner theater show, which is called what? Bingo Bitches? Is that what it's called?
Something about bingo. They dress like old ladies and they have many skits about bingo.
Yeah, they're dressed in drag and they talk about bingo. Now
It looks like kind of a more profane church lady sort of setting.
yes. It's like a Menopause the Musical type thing. And so they're big fans of The Amazing Race, but for some reason they feel the need that they're going to lie about their occupation here. And
yeah, but they have a hilarious lie. I got to give them that.
they're professional bingo players.
High stakes bingo players.
High stakes bingo players. So yeah, we'll see exactly if it's going to be something that is going to work in their favor or not. But I guess they just needed a cover story for why they had to wear the shirts that say bingo.
Yeah, I guess they could have just packed some shirts that didn't say bingo, but maybe they don't own any.
That's entirely possible. So do you think that Rowan and Shane will go far into the game?
Well, they don't look very fit to me.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, is there any way these guys are not out in the first 3 episodes?
I want to have faith that they will get further along into the game.
I get a distinct cannon fodder vibe off of them.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I'm not going to deny it. You don't think that they will get a free space or anything to start?
Yeah, well, they might, but I don't think they're going to get a lot of them.
No, I don't think so.
They're not going to score blackout.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. So Rowan and Shane the arrow is not pointing too far up for them.
No, it is not.
Okay. Well, let's see if our next team might be able to fare better. All right. Here is Tim and Danny. They're oil field friends.
Yeah, oil field friends. This sounds like a sitcom that I wouldn't watch.
So they're friends and they work on the oil fields together.
Yeah, they seem like regular guys. I mean, sometimes you have teams on The Amazing Race that don't seem like regular people, you know what I'm saying? And these guys seem like very regular people.
Yeah, they do seem like very regular people to the point that they seem like they could be very boring.
Yeah, they weren't very dynamic on camera.
Yeah, that was your politically way of saying that? Politically correct way of saying that? Yeah.
Well, it's 2 different things that kind of intertwine.
Now, what role are they filling? That I know last season, before the season starts, and we should retweet that again, your 11 teams that you'll always find on The Amazing Race.
Yeah.
What role is this team? They're the super fans?
They're the fish out of water, I think.
Really?
Like, they spend all their time on the oil rig. They're not very well traveled.
Yeah.
The thing that they said that I really loved, they said, "We're not here to make friends, but it would be nice if we made friends."
Yeah.
I've never heard it put that way before.
I do feel like "we're not here to make friends" is the do a shot every time you hear that line in any of these things. Back like with the Big Brother preview show, everybody, Big Jeff kept asking everybody if they were going to be single and ready to mingle. this one. It seemed like every team's like, well, we're not here to make friends, but yeah, they are also. They're not here to make friends, but they really are.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It would be nice, and I guess that is always nice if you can make friends. I wouldn't know. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like every year it is like going away to summer camp. You end up with these really kind of strangely strong bonds because you've been in this pressure cooker together. So you can't help but make friends.
Yeah. All right, so will they make enough friends to make it to the end, Tim and Danny?
Well, there's one thing in their favor, which is who else do we know from the reality TV universe who has worked on an oil rig?
Oh, the Hans family.
Hans family. And they do all right, so, they got that going for them. But
So do you think that the Hans family got in touch with them and maybe might have been teaching Tim and Danny a thing or two?
yeah, maybe they went to, like, oil rig reality TV boot camp and learned from the best. We haven't seen a Hans on The Amazing Race yet.
We have not yet.
Let's hope we never do, but this might be the closest we get.
I will teach you to be the greatest player of all time, Tim and Danny. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I would enjoy that.
Yeah. So then let's go from Tim and Danny. Do you think they're going to go far?
No, I think they remind me the most of those two guys from South Carolina who were out first last season. I don't see them doing very well.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Those guys were pretty pathetic. Those two guys. They were out on the first episode. Those two guys, right?
Yeah. They quit a task. And
yeah. Tim and Danny, I think they're also there to fill like the Chuck and Winona role of they're almost like a sort of like a Chuck light in that they don't seem like they are the redneck of the season, but they're sort of a little bit the people that are not as experienced with the world.
Yeah, down home country boys. I think they might have even called themselves that. I'm not sure, but yeah, they're not cosmopolitan world travelers. We'll put it that way.
Okay. All right. Another Tim on this season of The Amazing Race. It's Tim and Marie, who I think could actually be a pretty interesting team going forward. They are exes, and that's always fun when people who used to date are on The Amazing Race.
That is always fun, and I've got some amazing news about these guys. Are you ready for this, Rob?
Ready. We're ready for that. Is the news that they are actually the hosts of Body Beat?
No, but I think I would watch that.
Okay.
The news is okay.
News.
You're sitting down, right?
Yes.
They're not here to make friends.
Oh, yeah.
I was shocked. You look at them; they just look like I want to make friends with you, but nope. No, they're out to break some hearts.
Yes, they're not here to make friends, and they will fight with each other also. They seem like the team most likely to have internal conflict in addition to external conflict.
That is clearly why they were cast.
Yes, which is good. What has been the history of exes on The Amazing Race?
Well, there haven't been really a lot of them. There are a lot of people that call themselves dating on and off, which I think is more apt for these guys. And they say, we don't work very well together, but we like each other a lot when we're broken up, and we're going to go on the race to see if maybe being in close quarters in each other's faces for 30 days will make us realize that we love each other.
What was the couple from the season with Brendan and Rachel who was like this? That they fought with Brendan and Rachel all the time.
Was that Vanessa and Ralph?
Vanessa and Ralph. They were exes, right?
Yeah, and they continue to be exes. They didn't. They were dating, and then they broke up, and they got back together, and then they broke up after the race.
Yeah. Okay. So that's going to be very fun to watch, I think, with Tim and Marie. So what do we think? Do Tim and Marie have what it takes?
They seem very competitive. Apparently, Tim used to play single A baseball, and Marie is a personal trainer. So I think they definitely have the physical fitness, and they seem like they're smart. They're a little bit self-aggrandizing in this kind of weird, off-putting way, but you have to have a lot of confidence to go far. So
could Tim and Marie be the villains of the season?
I think there is no way that Tim and Marie are not the villains of this season.
Oh, okay. Well, they're going to be very interesting to watch.
It's a funny thing. I was talking to Brett from Amazing Race Canada. We were talking about this, and he said that the second he walked in the room and saw all the other teams, it was abundantly clear to him why they had been cast. And he said this is the same role they put them in, which was you can look around at people, you can even have the mute button on, and you can see who is supposed to be the villains. And these guys are clearly supposed to be the villains.
Okay, well, this is going to be fun to watch. Do you think that they could make it to the top 3?
I think there's a very strong chance.
Okay. Do you think they have a little bit of a Dave and Rachel vibe to them?
Yeah, I think they seem like they're prone to yelling at each other.
Yeah.
And they seem very driven, so yeah, I think that's a good comparison.
Dave and Rachel, that was such an underrated season. I think that in recent years, I think that might have been my favorite season that we've covered since Rob has a podcast with the Art and JJ and Dave and Rachel and Brendan and Rachel and Vanessa and Ralph. You had so many teams. There was so much animosity between the teams on that season.
Yeah, that was a good season for conflict.
It really was. I really enjoyed that. And of course, Mark and Bopper then, who got along with everybody. All right.
Yeah.
So, and then the last but not least, team number 11, Travis and Nicole married ER doctors, just like on Amazing Race Canada.
Yeah, we got some of those.
Yeah.
We have a lot of doctors this season. We got dad is also a doctor.
What happened last time, I think we could use a few more doctors on the Amazing Race.
That is a very good point.
In case anybody tears an ACL, then we have doctors right there traveling with the crew. Or if anybody gets kidnapped or anything like that. So we have emergency doctors, and Travis and Nicole, they don't look like they're going to rock the boat or be super interesting, but they look like they've got everything it takes to go far into this race.
Yeah, they seem all right. They seem like nice people. Travis has this really, really calming voice. He sounds like a late-night radio DJ.
Yeah.
So I feel like I watched them, and I had watched all these other videos of people trying really hard to be entertaining, and then we got to these guys, and it's just like, yeah, all right, I'll hang out with these guys. They're mellow.
Yeah, I think so. And they seem very calm, and they were talking about how, look, hey, when you're an emergency room doctor, you have like 10 different things going on. You have to remember who has what and treating all these different patients. So I do feel like that is going to work in their favor.
Yeah, I don't know that being a doctor is necessarily a good indicator of how you're going to do on the race, because we've had some doctors who have not done very well.
Yeah. Do you think that these particular doctors could do very well?
Yeah, I think they're going to do okay. I don't see them winning, but I see them doing pretty well.
I think they're right in there with it.
Yeah.
So do you want to do a prediction? We have questions from that Scott St. Pierre is ready to field. We have also predictions for the winner. What do you want to do?
Let's start with questions, and we'll wrap up with the prediction.
Okay. So let's do it. Let me bring in what Scott St. Pierre has his questions. If you want to get your questions in, tweet them to RHAP on Twitter or post them on YouTube on this very video. So let's start with Nick2S, who wants to know, what locations would you want to avoid / see on this season? Anything in particular, Jessica? I'll let you field this one.
Yeah. Well, my favorite thing about the show is always the kind of travel porn aspect of it, and I'm pretty much happy with everywhere they go, although I would like to see them avoid the places that they tend to go every season. Like, if we had a season where they didn't end up in China or India for once, that'd be all right.
Yeah.
I always like it when they go to South America. I always like it when they add new countries. So.
Do you think that they will change the name of the show at any point to Travel Porn?
I feel like that would attract the wrong element.
Yeah, possibly. Okay, so here we go. Next question from Real BG Low. One of the admirable things about The Amazing Race is their seldom use of all-star seasons. That being said, I was expecting an all-star season this go-round. When can we expect the next all-stars? Well, first off, do you agree with the first part of the statement that Amazing Race seldom does all-star seasons?
Well, they've only had 2, and this is the 23rd season. So yeah, and I love that too.
Yeah, Amazing Race has also stayed away from the format that Big Brother and Survivor has done over the years, where it's like, hey, it's a bunch of new teams, and then remember this team that you like from the past, or remember this other team that's back also once again. So while Survivor and Big Brother has done that a lot over the years, the race hasn't done that.
Yeah, I'm always afraid that the race is going to look at the ratings and see that when they have a lot of teams come back, when they have a lot of players come back on seasons of Survivor, they tend to get higher ratings. And I'm afraid that The Amazing Race is going to look at that and start casting like every other season is a bunch of returnees, and we get somebody that's raced like 4 times, and I really hope that doesn't happen.
Okay.
I want to see one every 10 seasons is about what I want.
But the last one wasn't that long ago, right?
Last one was season 18, so it was 5 seasons ago. We have nowhere near enough dynamic teams to sustain another All-Star season right away.
Okay, so so that answers the second part of the question. Do you think that we will have another Amazing Race All-Star soon?
I hope we do not. I have heard some rumblings that we might, and I'm really not looking forward to that if that's what ends up happening.
All right. Well, luckily
ask the 8-ball.
I have a magic 8-ball here, and we'll find out. Will there be an All-Star season of the Amazing Race coming up soon? The 8-ball says. My sources say no, but again, this is not the Magic 8-ball from Survivor the Amazon. So
that one melted, didn't it?
Yeah, well then it's over there. It still works a little bit, but this may not. Individual results may vary. So that 8-ball says my sources say no, but I would bet against that. I would say I feel like one's coming, and probably not too far from now.
Probably sooner than I'd like.
Yes. Nick too wants to know which team has the biggest resemblance to a past team. Jessica, is this? Do you want to say aesthetically or personality-wise?
I'd say we got to go personality-wise. Aesthetically is kind of weird. I feel like Allie and Ashley remind me of every cute girl team that's ever been on The Amazing Race.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason and Amy remind me of every dating couple team that's ever been on The Amazing Race.
Mm-hmm.
But if we want to go with like specific people that remind me of specific teams, I feel like Travis and Nicole kind of remind me of Chip and Kim from season 5. They're just down to earth, like driven people that we're gonna like and we're gonna want them to do well.
Yeah.
So we got that.
Were they winners?
They were winners.
Yes, I remember it in my past life at the Fishbowl. I think I did run into them, and Chip and Kim and Uchenna and Joyce. It was like an era of the married African American couples.
Yeah, and they were both great teams. So
yeah, very good. So let's see. Next question. Let's go to Real BG Low, who wants to know what do you think? Why do you think casting bothered with 3 sport background teams? The footballers, the ice crew, and the baseball wives. Same storyline to an extent. No. Well, if you follow CBS reality TV, you know they love any tie-in to professional sports.
Yeah, it's cross-promotion.
Yeah. So, and it seems very easy to promote. They love any sort of former athlete on The Amazing Race. They love it on Survivor. Big Brother, they haven't done much with that.
Yeah, and they really, even when they don't talk about it, they almost always have someone who has some kind of tie to professional sport. Like last season, they didn't talk about it a lot, but Katie of Max and Katie is or was a cheerleader for one of the Buffalo teams.
The Buffalo Bills?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. So that would be, they love to get the sports tie-ins on the CBS reality TV, and I don't mind it. I like when they bring in, it gives us something to talk about, make puns. We like it.
Yeah, and we always like the sports metaphors.
Yes, that's always fun. I can't see this question, Jessica. Can you read it?
It says, the Emmys had The Voice steal The Amazing Race's usual award. What can the show do to claim it back from Christina Aguilera?
Yes. Christina Aguilera walked off with the rightful Emmy of The Amazing Race. I think that this is a flawed question because it implies that there's actually something that happens on screen that determines the Emmys.
Yeah, I mean, The Amazing Race has a lot of Emmys, and I think the last couple of seasons may not necessarily have been Emmy caliber.
Yeah. I think the Emmys gets a little political. I don't think it has anything to do with what actually happens on TV.
It's people voting for stuff. It is by its very definition political.
Yes. Okay. So Real BG Low says, will this season be better or worse than The Amazing Race Canada? Jessica, you love The Amazing Race Canada. Let me start with this. What was the last U.S. season that was better than Amazing Race Canada?
That's going back pretty far. I would think maybe it's the Rachel and Dave season might have been better. It was maybe as good.
Okay. All right, so do you think this season has a chance to top it just by looking at the 11 biographies of these teams?
I'm not optimistic. I mean, that's a high bar. So
yeah.
I don't think so. But, I think it's going to be an okay season. I think we're going to be entertained.
Okay. I think so. I think it could be. This could even top Amazing Race Canada. I'm going to have high hopes. I'm going to be an optimist.
Okay, well, one of us has to be.
Sure. Okay. How about the next question? Let's go from. Are you able to read the question?
Yeah, I can see the question. It says,
okay.
has there been any female pro athletes on Amazing Race before? A pro athlete, I think, is kind of, that's hard to quantify.
Yeah.
We've had some very competitive athletes who have played at like high levels. I think Keisha and Jen. Keisha was a pretty high-level basketball player at the college level. And, of course, we had Derby girls last season, and we've had beach volleyball players. So we've had good athletes. I don't know if we've had anybody that's made a living off of it, but there aren't that many women that do.
All right, let's take one more question, and then let's do our winner picks. All right, this is from, and Jessica, if you could read the. Oh, actually, I see it. Nick 2S wants to know, how much could they really be exes when they both agree to apply on the show? Well, I guess they're sort of. Are they at the point? Are they friends without benefits? What are they? Not an acrimonious
No.
breakup.
It's entirely possible to be friends with your ex.
Yes.
I don't know that any of mine are people I'm close enough with that I would go on the Amazing Race with them, but you know, I think they have a good hook, and I think they may have been able to get over any negative feelings they had for each other because they had a really good concept to get themselves onto the show.
Yeah. When we'll have to check in and with Tim and Marie and see how their current relationships feel about them going on the Amazing Race with their exes.
Are they with other people, or are they trying to figure out if they're going to get back together?
I don't know. It would be interesting. I will run that by Nicole later on tonight to see if she would let me go on the Amazing Race with any of my exes, and I suspect that the answer would be, what exes do you have? And I'd say, you don't know them, that there's a lot.
Do they live in Canada, Rob?
They go to another school, and you don't know them. All right, so let's talk about prediction time, Jessica.
All right.
All right.
Prediction time.
All right, give us your real prediction, and then I'll let you have a backup.
Okay, well, I have the cynical pick and the I'm rooting for pick.
Okay, good. All right, give me your cynical. Who do you think will win the game?
I got Jason and Amy. I think they are going to win.
Jason and Amy, they are your cynical pick, the dating Bostonians who you think could be boring.
Yeah, I picked the least interesting team, and I assume that that's who's going to win.
Do you think that the fix could be in? They're wearing the Boston Strong shirt. Would it be bring some happiness to the people of Boston if their hometown heroes Jason and Amy could win the Amazing Race?
Well, I hope that for Boston. They could use it. One thing I was really worried about when I heard there was a Boston team, I was worried they were going to have some kind of direct connection to the marathon bombings and that they were going to exploit that somehow, but that doesn't appear to be the case, and that is a big relief.
They're saying that basically that they have the courage to enter another race now around the world.
That would be horrifying, and I'm glad they did not go that way.
Good. All right. So let me give my pick, and I actually went to this one pretty quickly, and I feel like the history of my picks, I feel like when I hem and haw, the times that I've been right, I feel like those have been the times I do, but actually I went right to this one. I had very little doubt. There was no close second one. Who do you think I'm going to pick?
I honestly have no idea.
Okay. Well, for me, it was not close. My pick, 100%, is the ER doctors, Travis and Nicole. I feel like they're the most well-rounded of the group. I like the guy and the girl team because if there's anything that's sort of like, okay, today you have to do this sort of, this choreographed dance and memorize it. I feel like, okay, you take that. I'll take the stuff I'm good at, and I feel like they seem like they are not going to fight with each other. They seem like they're good under pressure. I'll take Travis and Nicole for my pick.
That's a solid pick, Rob.
Yeah,
I could be down with that.
I hope so. So we'll see. We'll see how Travis and Nicole fare. It didn't. My pick on Amazing Race Canada was also the Married Doctors, and that didn't pan out. But I feel like if I keep sticking with Married Doctors, it's going to come in eventually.
Someday there's going to be, like, the Married Doctor horse is going to ride up.
It's gonna come in. All right.
Yeah.
So give me your sentimental pick. Who are you gonna be rooting for to win?
I think I'm on Team Afghanimals.
Oh, the Afghanimals, Leo and Jamal. Why? What speaks to you about Leo and Jamal?
Well, they're trying hard to be entertaining. I feel like they've accomplished a lot for being as young as they are. And I think they're going to be the comic relief of the season, so I think we're going to naturally want them to go far.
Okay, well, we'll see how Leo and Jamal do. All right, so let me I'll give my sentimental pick of the team that I am rooting for, that I would like to see go far, and I'll go with, to root for, how about our former NFLers, Chester and Ephraim, from the Houston Texans. They seem like fun guys.
Yeah, I mean, I like them a lot more than I thought I was going to.
See if they stick
I think I'll want them to go far as well.
Okay, there you go. All right, well, Jessica, this has been a very fun and informative preview of the Amazing Race 23.
I agree. It's been a good one.
All right, well, we're going to do this every week on Monday night and talk about the episode that went by. Don't forget, the premiere is on Sunday night on CBS, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, and then the opposite for the Pacific time zones. So what we're going to do is next Monday night, we're going to get together and recap the episode. Now, again, we'll put an asterisk on all this. My wife is very, very pregnant. Our due date for our baby is September 28th. Nicole was pretty convinced yesterday she was going to have the baby. She has not yet. Otherwise, I would probably be one of the worst dads ever to be podcasting right now, as my wife was in labor. But
well, labor can go on a long time, Rob. You could just have her text you when they get 5 minutes apart.
I should bring the laptop to the hospital just in case, and then we can potentially. But I would think, and you never know, we could be late. But I would think that at least for next week, I may be out of the picture. But what I'd like to do is I would like to see all of the podcasts, not just this one, go on in my absence, and so we will do our best to.
Well, you do not have to worry about that, Rob, because I have lined up some racer guests for next Monday.
Okay.
And if you're not here, we'll have a party without you.
That's fine. Can you tease who will be joining us on Monday?
Well, they are a fan favorite. They are two-time players.
Ooh. Okay.
And you really cool people. So, yeah, you guys can guess if you like, but I'll let you know later in the week.
And as well, please let us know who you think is going to win in the comments. And you have it down, and then sometime in December you could say, I called it because I have that comment from that preview video back in September. So that's how you'll know. And then this week, what we're trying to do, again, we're going to have Survivor Know-It-Alls on Wednesday with or without me. Stephen Fishback is going to be there. We will have a Survivor fill-in in my stead if I cannot be there. And then we'll see about Thursday. There may not be an interview, full recap of the episode if the baby is born before then. But if not, then we're going to talk with John Carroll from Survivor Marquesas. So
I love him. That's exciting.
He's very fun, and he's a longtime listener to Rob as a podcast, so it's going to be fun to chat with him. So, and don't forget, also on Thursday, we're also going to have the first person off of Redemption Island. So that is going to be fun. Either Candace, Rupert, or I'm already spoiling it now. It's too late. We've crossed the bridge if you haven't watched Survivor. Or Marissa. One of those three I'm going to talk to on Thursday morning as well, unless the baby is actively being born on Thursday. Otherwise, then we'll have to catch up with them some other time. All right, Jessica, how do you think it went?
I think it went well.
Good. This was a fun preview. We will be back on next Monday night. Enjoy the race, everybody, and subscribe if you want to catch up. Follow us all season long on YouTube. You can just click the subscribe button here at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube, or subscribe to the audio feed of our Amazing Race podcast at robhasawebsite.com/ I forget what the link is. Let's go with /TAR podcast. And also, if you want to subscribe to all of our podcasts, go to robhasawebsite.com iTunes. All right? So have a great night, everybody, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of we're number one, and I think we have a lot of that here with Jason and Amy.
Yeah, I get a lot of that. They got their Boston Strong T-shirts on.
Yes. All right. Well, that's a noble cause that they're racing to raise awareness about with the Boston Massacre that happened back. What was that? May or June?
It was during the marathon, and it was earlier. It was like April, I think.
Okay, yeah, around the time that's when they had in Patriots Day over in Boston. So they're dating a couple, and they want to test their relationship. Is going on The Amazing Race a good way to test a relationship? And if so, why do you need to test your relationship?
Well, they feel like they want to take the next step.
Okay.
And it's always a hook that the casting people like because they think there's always a small chance that they're going to test their relationship and it's going to fail, and it's going to fail on TV. So
yeah, that's fun. That's always fun.
Yeah, that's why that keeps happening. And apparently, frequently, it does end up ending in failure.
Do you think that there's a possibility that Jason and Amy turn out to be the villains of this season?
I think they are too boring to be the villains of the season.
Yeah, I could go either way. I could go either way. We really anticipated that Max and Katie were going to be the villains last season, and it really never happened, despite what they were saying in the beginning of the season. But these guys are very competitive, and I wonder if somebody gets in their way, could we see some sparks?
Yeah, we could see. I could definitely see them having some kind of airport altercation with another team where somebody says something ugly. Because Jason does say about Amy that she is a terror.
Yeah, well, that'll be good. We like terrors.
Yeah, I guess we do. One thing I saw on their questionnaire, and I saw this on a few people's questionnaires, and I wanted to bring this up, Amy's biggest fear about traveling internationally is that she might get taken.
Yes.
And one of the beardy guys said the same thing, and Nina said the same thing. So, is this a realistic concern on the race?
I don't know. It could be. Well, how about that Tom Hanks movie where they get taken over by pirates? Could the Amazing Race production get taken over by pirates and held hostage?
I feel like that would make for a far more interesting season than we've had in recent years. So I, for one, would be rooting for it. Go Pirates.
At this roadblock, the teams will be captured by pirates and need to figure out a way to escape. When they do escape from custody of the pirates, they'll receive the next clue to go to the match.
Liam Neeson will hand them their next clue.
Yeah, okay. That's good. How about Jason and Amy? Now, do you know what Jason does for a living?
Yes, he's Mr. Plow.
Yes, that's his name.
His name again.
Is Mr. Plow. So he luckily, this season of The Amazing Race, I believe, took place over the summer, so Jason was able to get off of work and not have to plow all of the snow that was going to befall New England.
Yeah, he got very lucky. It was the slow season for the plow industry.
Yes. If they go to a cold weather climate, will this be an advantage for Jason and Amy?
I don't see it being an advantage unless the task is specifically to drive a plow, but maybe he got his start with a snow shovel and worked his way up.
Okay. Well, just for that, I hope they make it to the cold weather leg of the race.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
We'll see them in their element. Do you think Jason and Amy will do well on The Amazing Race?
Well, they are possibly the most boring team on the race, so I'm going to say yes.
Yeah,
they're going to go all the way.
They're in the final three. I didn't think that they were. I saw more potential with them, I think, than you did. But I do think that there's a chance, if we were to sort of come up with the probabilities here, there is probably a 50% chance that they are very, very boring. But there's also a 50% chance that they are at least somewhat interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I see pageant, and I immediately think boring.
Yeah.
Because I feel like 9 out of 10 pageant contestants that we get on The Amazing Race end up being kind of bland.
Yeah.
But I'm always hoping to be surprised.
Okay. So we'll see what happens with Jason and Amy. They're very competitive, and that's what I'm hanging my hopes on, what could make there be some conflict there. All right.
I mean, you got to be driven, and being driven is usually a good thing for teams. So.
Okay. How about another interesting team? How about the Afghanimals? Is that what?
Afghanimals, yeah.
Animals. Leo and Jamal, they are lifelong friends with family in Afghanistan.
Yep, they are cousins, in fact. And I think it's the
I'm
third
sorry.
cousin team we've had on the race.
Okay. And how have cousin teams fared before on the Amazing Race?
Well, there was one cousin team that I barely remember that did not do very well, and then, of course, one of the all-time most memorable teams on the Amazing Race, Sharla and Myrna, were cousins.
Okay. So we are really representing Afghanistan here, that they have T-shirts with Afghanistan on them. So at least I think that's somewhat interesting to have that as an Amazing Race team's uniform.
Yeah, it's certainly new and different.
Yeah. Now, what are they doing with the Afghanimals? I don't understand. They talk like animals? What do they do impressions of animals?
Well, Jamal says that he is a big cat fanatic, whatever that means. I don't know if that means he's into big cats.
Oh.
I assume you watch all of the CBS reality shows if you get cast on one.
Or if you have a number of cats. I think there's also a strong correlation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But I feel like these guys are going to go, they're either going to be really entertaining and we're going to like them a lot, or they're going to get on our last nerve and we're going to hate them and want them off of our screen. And I can't tell which it is yet.
Well, yeah, we will see. Now, is there some concern here after the big controversy on the last season of The Amazing Race, when the race went to Vietnam, and we had the whole thing, is The Amazing Race insensitive? Do you think that this will at all get political and some sort of, will we have any discussion about the ongoing military action in Afghanistan?
I don't think so. I think these guys have been in the States their whole lives. They said their parents came over, and their parents probably came over to get away from Afghanistan, and I think they've tried to assimilate pretty hard. So I don't think it's going to be a huge concern to them.
Okay. That one of the goals of Leo is, I hope to become closer to my cousin and show the entire world that Afghans are great, fun people, and not just what we are portrayed by in the media. So
exactly, they're out to bust the stereotype.
Yes. This is shades of when Kaser was first on Big Brother and Big Brother 6, right in the early days of the Iraq War. This could be very, very interesting.
Yeah, it could be great. And the other thing I like about these guys is they are the only team of the 11 teams who claim that they're going to use flirting to get themselves further in the race.
Oh, showmance with the Ice Queens?
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's pretty much they're the only option. I think everybody else is coupled up, or they're either coupled up or they're the wrong gender. So I think pretty much if they're not going to hook up with the Afghanimals, they're not going to hook up with anybody.
Do you think that there's a possibility that the Ice Queens could go for the Afghanimals?
They could. I mean, they seem like they're going to try very hard to be charming.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Where do you think Leo and Jamal end up finishing the race?
I suspect they're going to do all right. I think they're going to go pretty far.
Okay. Yeah, I think that they will probably do pretty well, too. I think that
I have a good feeling about them.
They'll be around for a while. All right,
yeah.
Could be in the mix here. All right, how about another team of sports-related female team? Here are Nikki and Kim, the baseball wives.
The baseball bunnies, they called themselves.
Oh, boy. All right, so let's go back to, let's talk about Nikki and Kim and their significant others. Now,
okay.
Again, all right, did you have a question about this?
Well, yeah, I did have a question about this because I feel like I can't name more than 5 current baseball players who don't play for the Mets, so these guys are unfamiliar to me, and I can't tell if they're Jeff Kent famous or less famous than that.
I think they're less famous than that. I mean, I think that they're somewhere, they're significant others. David DeJesus, he played for the Kansas City Royals, the Oakland Athletics, the Chicago Cubs, and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. I don't believe that he is an all-star baseball player. And now let me get the Wikipedia open, and we'll fact check that. But I don't believe that he is a superstar. And I think he's actually the more famous of the two. Who is the other baseball player?
Chris Getz, I think his name is.
Okay. So let's see. David DeJesus. He is a professional baseball outfielder. He has played in the MLB since 2003, and he does not seem to have any accolades. His career batting average is .279, 86 home runs. He has 513 RBIs, so it seems like a bit of a journeyman in his career.
Yeah. But the league minimum is still like 200 grand, so these guys aren't hurting for money.
Yeah, and the other guy, who is what's the name of the other baseball player?
Chris Getz. Is that the one we just looked up, or is that the other one?
No, we looked up David DeJesus.
Yeah.
And Chris Getz. He is a second baseman, and he is 30, and his lifetime batting average is a .253 through August 21st. Only 3 home runs in his career. 82 stolen bases. So again, both these guys are journeymen. Now again, hey, they are Major League Baseball players, and only about 30 million times better at what they do than what I do. But we're not talking about this is not Jeff Kent we're talking about.
Yeah, no, they're relative unknowns. I'm glad to have that confirmed.
Yes, and DeJesus is the more notable player.
Yeah, I feel like people kind of knew who Kim was.
Yeah. All right, so Kim DeJesus, she is, okay, so they are friends from the Kansas City Royals. Do we think that the baseball bunnies could do well here on The Amazing Race?
Yeah, they seem competitive. Although, I got to point out, they kind of throw like girls. I feel like if you're married to a baseball player, you should at least be able to throw a baseball.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't think they're going to go particularly far. I hope I'm wrong about this.
Yeah, I feel like of the 2 all-female teams, I feel like they're going to go further, but that's just a hunch. I don't have anything to back that up.
Yeah, I think they seem like they are more with it than the
Ice Kababes.
I'm trying not to be chauvinistic here, Jessica.
Well, no. Chauvinistic would be like Ice Kabitches.
No.
I think Ice Kababes is okay.
Yeah, I'll stick with Ice Queens. I think that the baseball bunnies seem like they have a little more on the ball than the Ice Queens in my mind.
Yeah, they seem a little more grounded.
Yes, or grounders. So, do you think that they have a chance to make it past halfway?
Are you saying, are they going to strike out, or are they going to score a home run?
Sure.
I think they're going to do well. I have a good feeling about them.
Yeah. Do you think that there is a chance, if they are the last team to arrive to the mat, that Phil will say to them, "I'm sorry to inform you that you're out"?
Well, that's the hope.
So, yeah, and maybe.
But I feel like it's Phil. He's gonna use like a cricket metaphor or something.
And maybe every time they make it to the mat, it's like, "You are safe." So there you go. Nikki and Kim, who let's see how they do. Maybe I just feel like that this would be more fun if they were sort of like the divorced baseball wives, and maybe they were going to be like sort of like a little crazier. I feel like they're going to be kind of grounded.
Yeah, they don't have any mutual bitterness to bond over.
Yeah, we need like Anna Benson or like some jaded professional sports wives.
Yeah, they're a little too content with their lot.
Yeah. So it seems like they're like going on for like they want to come off like being very respectable, and I feel like that's not as much fun. All right.
Yeah, no.
How about Rowan and Shane? Bingo. The Bingo Bunny.
Oh, these guys.
Now they remind me a lot of the team from Amazing Race Canada. Which team am I thinking of? Who were the older guys on Amazing Race Canada?
The older guys on Amazing Race Canada.
Wasn't there a team of older gay guys on Amazing Race
Canada? Yeah,
the
Gay Cowboys.
Yes.
Jamie and Pierre.
Yes. I feel like,
That's an interesting comparison.
yeah. I feel like we see this a lot on the Amazing Race. The older gay friends.
Yeah, I don't even know if I got like the gay pigeonhole so much as like the older male super fans who have been watching the show for years and think that it's going to be awesome travel times.
Yeah. So now, can we get some more explanation on what these guys do? They are in a traveling like dinner theater show, which is called what? Bingo Bitches? Is that what it's called?
Something about bingo. They dress like old ladies and they have many skits about bingo.
Yeah, they're dressed in drag and they talk about bingo. Now,
It looks like kind of a more profane church lady sort of setting.
yes, it's like a Menopause the Musical type thing, and they're big fans of The Amazing Race, but for some reason they feel the need that they're going to lie about their occupation here, and
Yeah, but they have a hilarious lie. I got to give them that.
they're professional bingo players,
High stakes bingo players.
high stakes bingo players. So yeah, we'll see exactly if it's going to be something that is going to work in their favor or not. But I guess they just needed a cover story for why they had to wear the shirts that say bingo.
Yeah, I guess they could have just packed some shirts that didn't say bingo, but maybe they don't own any.
That's entirely possible. So do you think that Rowan and Shane will go far into the game?
Well, they don't look very fit to me.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, is there any way these guys are not out in the first 3 episodes?
I want to have faith that they will get further. Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now, here's the guy who's about to do a full cast assessment on the cast of The Amazing Race 23, Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our special coverage previewing the upcoming season premiere of Amazing Race 23. And with me, as always, here in our regular time slot here on Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, here is the woman who knows more about The Amazing Race than anybody else I know in the entire world. It's Jessica Leese.
Hey, Rob. It is always a pleasure, and it's nice to have a regular time slot now.
Yes, we have a regular time slot, so that's going to be very exciting, and we're going to talk every Monday night and recap the show. And the format for how we're going to do this is, if you have watched the Rob Has a Podcast Big Brother coverage, that's basically what it's going to be like. It's going to be Jessica and I. We're going to try to get past contestants from The Amazing Race to join us and talk about the episode. We'll take your questions, and of course, we are live, so we want to hear from you guys. So send us your questions and comments. Use the hashtag RHAP on Twitter, or you can go directly to, if you're watching the video live, click it and leave your comments on our YouTube channel, which is at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube. All right, Jessica, are you fired up? Are you ready to go for another go-round of The Amazing Race?
I was born ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So it premieres on Sunday night opposite the Breaking Bad finale. Was this smart counter-programming by CBS?
Well, it's not counter-programming. It's on right before the Breaking Bad.
Oh, it's a lead-in.
Yeah, I think it's excellent. This is going to be like the best night of television of my entire life.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, well, very exciting for The Amazing Race 23 to kick off. So what we're going to do is Jessica and I are going to go through each of the 11 teams that are participating in Amazing Race 23, and we'll tell you what we like, what we don't like, what we think is interesting, and then we'll give you our picks for the winner. And Jessica, refresh my memory. Who did you pick as your winner last season?
Who did I pick last season?
I think you picked Max and
Max and Katie, yeah.
Yes. And I can't even remember their names.
The twins, the Doctor twins.
No, I didn't pick them. I picked
You picked Pam and Winnie, right?
Pam and Winnie, right. Yes.
Well, we each get 2 picks. That's how this works.
Oh, that's great. Oh, this is so much better than any of the other shows I preview. I only get 1 pick. So fantastic. All right. So tell us, before we start on Amazing Race 23, is there anything of note? Did they change the format at all? Are there any new twists? Like on Survivor this season, we had to learn about 30 new twists that were taking place. On Amazing Race 23, is anything going to be different?
Not as far as I know. I haven't heard about any shocking new twists. They might roll one out, but I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward season.
Okay.
Which, personally, that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned.
And how about, are we giving away express passes at the end of the first leg of the race?
Well, it made for some really great drama the last two times they've done it, so I hope they do it again.
And we did it on the Amazing Race Canada as well, so maybe it's now an Amazing Race staple.
Right, right. I kind of counting Canada as a regular season. I need to start separating my countries again.
Yeah, why don't you give us your thoughts on Amazing Race Canada, just for if people did not watch it. What was your overall takeaway on the Amazing Race Canada?
Well, to be honest, Canada kind of kicked our ass.
Whoa!
It was a great season. They had excellent casting. They made the tasks harder than most of the American Amazing Race tasks. And it didn't even suffer for not going outside of Canada. There was so much to see and so many great things they did that I feel like they could pack 5 more seasons worth of Canada stuff and not repeat anything.
Oh my God! So if they announced that there was going to be a Amazing Race that was only going to be in the United States, just like they did with the family one way back when, do you think that it could actually be good in all U.S. Amazing Race, or was there something in particular that was beyond just the not leaving Canada?
Well, they would have to compensate. I mean, Canada did this very well. They'd have to compensate for the lack of geographical diversity by bringing in some tasks that were more interesting and more difficult.
Okay.
I think it could be done. It would be hard, but I think it could be done.
All right. So let's jump into our cast assessment of the 11 new teams that will be taking part in Amazing Race 23. All right, so here we go. Let's start with team number 1. They are Allie and Ashley. I've called them the Ice Kababes. They are the, what is their official name? They are Ice Crew Girls for the LA Kings?
Yes, they are members of the Ice Crew.
Okay. They claim they make over 400 appearances a year as part of the LA Kings Ice Crew Girls. How is this possible?
I feel like they must pay them better than they pay other professional sports pep squads.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't know what an ice crew did, so I had to do some research. I was hoping that it meant that they drove the Zamboni, but that is apparently not what they do.
No. What do they do?
They come out whenever there's a timeout and between periods, they come out with shovels, and they scoop all of the slushy stuff off of the ice to clean it up for the next time the players come out.
Yeah.
And apparently in smaller market cities, they just have a bunch of random people in tracksuits, but because it's LA, they gotta dress up in skimpy outfits.
Do they have a potato gun that shoots T-shirts?
I assume they do.
Yes.
In fact, I have in my notes, they also man the T-shirt gun. So.
Oh, fantastic. Of Allie and Ashley, at any point this season, will we be able to distinguish one from the other?
At any point during the season, are we going to try? Why bother?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about. Do we think that they will be around for a while here on The Amazing Race?
Well, they're very cute, so they're going to have a fan base. But I don't see them being great at racing. I think they'll probably stick around, I'd say, middle of the pack. I don't think they're going to win, but I don't see them going out first either.
Will they be better or worse than last season's team of blonde racers, the country music singers?
I think they'll be worse.
Yeah, I think so too. I didn't come away particularly impressed with Allie and Ashley from their video.
Yeah, they didn't do anything particularly interesting. That doesn't mean they're not going to on the race, but initial impression is not existent.
Yeah.
I don't really have one.
As much as I can on this podcast, I feel like I want to assess the teams like Giles from Whodunit. So if you will allow me that, can I ask? So do you think that Allie and Ashley will be left out in the cold?
Um, sure,
Do you
sure.
think this season they'll be skating on thin ice?
I feel like you need to have sunglasses and you need to have that scream from "Won't Get Fooled Again" whenever you do these things.
Sure. Yes, I'm not particularly taken with Allie and Ashley. I don't think that they're going to get particularly far in this game, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them be the first out.
That would surprise me because I feel like the race almost conspires to keep the cute girls in long
Oh,
enough to keep the straight males.
Piracy. Interesting. Because
Well, and also there are some teams that are going to do worse because there are teams that kind of look like they're going to be actively bad, but we're going to get to that.
Okay. I feel like in my predictions here, we've done this a couple of times, I feel like I'm just looking for who is going to be able to avoid the major meltdown. And I don't know if Allie and Ashley, they have a particularly tough task, and we saw this a lot last season. It's like, oh my God, this is so tough. I give up. Let's just quit because I can't do this. And I kind of feel like I know they are the LA Kings, the prestigious ice crew members of the LA Kings, but I just don't know if they hit a bump in the ice. I don't know if they're going to be able to move on and power through.
Well, I got to give them credit though. It's cold on that rink, and they aren't wearing very much. They got to be a little bit tough.
Okay. All right. Are you interested in the famous people that Allie and Ashley are most like?
No.
Okay.
I have a feeling there's a lot of them.
In case anybody is, so Allie, the famous person that reminds her of herself is Kate Hudson, and the famous person that Ashley reminds herself of is Emma Stone. Okay? There
Okay.
you go.
I mean, at least to give them credit, like a lot of people, when they fill out the famous person that they think they're most like, they put somebody they think they look like, and it sounds like they might have actually considered temperament and other things, so they get props for that.
Yeah. Now, both of them, they were literally willing to do anything to win the race. Do you think that Allie and Ashley are fodder for a showmance on the race this season?
Well, I think that was the hope when they got cast.
Yeah, all right. Ooh. So should we, as we go along, should we try to set them up? Who are they going to showmance with?
Yeah, that's a good question. Who are they going to showmance with?
Okay, well, let's see as we go along. Maybe we'll find a showmance for Allie and Ashley. But overall, I say the arrow's pointing down for our Ice Queens.
Yeah, I don't feel like they have a shot at winning.
Okay. Maybe
But
they'll surprise us.
Yeah, I'm always hoping for a surprise, so.
Okay. All right, let's look at our second team tonight. This is Brandon and Adam, and they are bearded friends. Now, Jessica, we've had a lot of beards, I feel like, on reality TV over the years. I feel like casting some people at CBS seem very impressed if you have a beard.
Yeah, well, I mean, it says that you don't care what other people think of your face. I think.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not taken. It doesn't. I don't get very impressed with a long beard.
Yeah, I mean, it works very well for ZZ Top, but I feel like everybody else is just kind of copying them.
So now, how do these two guys know each other?
They have been friends since they were kids, apparently.
Yeah.
And I have this great picture in my mind of like these two little boys growing up together and deciding when we become adults, we're going to have long beards and live out in the woods and be off the grid.
Yeah.
It's a lovely picture.
I can't really get a good sense of what these guys are. Are they sort of like are they hippies, or are they sort of like survivalist type guys? Like, are they pretty much ready for The Walking Dead to happen? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, I thought they were really hard to pigeonhole too. They're not hippies so much as they're metal. Maybe you could be a metal hippie, I don't know.
Oh, really?
At least one of them plays in a metal band.
Yeah.
And they like to, like, one of them is big into, he has a co-op and they're off the grid and they do organic farming, which is very hippie, so.
Yeah, so Adam is the one, he has an organic farm and he lives there and he's like completely self-sufficient and he could live on $5,000 a year. So, Jessica, for him, if he wins the Amazing Race, is it actually like he's winning $20 million?
Could be.
Yeah.
Or maybe because he doesn't know how to handle a large amount of money, he'll end up spending it all on beard grooming tools and farm equipment.
Now, what makes you think that these guys would spend money on beard grooming tools?
Well, they clearly need it.
Well, but you would think that beard grooming tools is not like an expensive operation that they would need to win the money to be able to get. You would think they'd be able to get their hands on some beard grooming tools pretty easily if that was one of their goals.
Well, you know, there's kind of different gradations in the quality of the beard grooming apparati.
Yeah.
I guess. They can get one that's like silver plated or something.
So what's your take on these guys? We've said it's a little tough to get a good read on them. Do you think that they will fare well in Amazing Race 23?
Well, they claim that they have done way more traveling than it would appear on first glance, but a big recurring theme in their videos and on their questionnaire was that they're very excitable, and when they get all, to use their actual term, amped up and screaming, they can be prone to missing details, which, of course, is not a good thing on The Amazing Race.
Yes. Now, why are they going to be screaming and amped up?
They said it's their tendency. It's how they are frequently. So if they're like that in their normal life, when they're running around a foreign country, it's going to be turned up to 11.
Yeah. I think these guys are going to be okay, but I don't see them going the distance.
Yeah, I don't see them doing very well, to be honest.
Yeah, okay, so you think, are they out before or after the Ice Queens?
I think before.
Whoa.
But it could be, I think they'll be close. Their eliminations will be close together.
They'll be close together. I think that these guys are around for a little bit. I think that they're getting like to final 6 or final 7.
You know, they're the character team, so I guess that's the hope.
Yeah. All right, so we'll see what happens with Brandon and Adam. These guys could go either way. They could be annoying or they could be really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I feel like that's the case with a lot of the teams this season.
Could go either way. All right, so let's go to our NFL buddies. This is Chester and Ephraim. They are lifelong friends. And they are former NFL football players, and they even played on the same team on the Houston Texans at one point, as demonstrated by their matching Houston Texans jerseys.
Yeah, but, you know, to be honest, I was not feeling these guys, and then I found out a little bit more about how they know each other, and it's way more than just being teammates. It's really kind of a cool story.
Yeah, well, you want to tell it? It was actually the subject of a commercial at one point, right?
Yeah, at the 2008 Super Bowl, there was a commercial that aired that starred these guys.
Okay, well, and now they're on The Amazing Race. So
yeah,
dreams can come true.
I mean, it's a fantastic story, and it makes me like them. I mean, I don't usually go for the famous professional athlete teams because I feel like if you already have $1 million, what is my incentive to want you to have more $1 million? But
yeah, well, please share the story for people who don't know it, because I could not accurately tell it.
Okay. Well, I wrote it down, so.
Okay.
They were. I feel like if these guys were in a relationship, we'd call it a meet cute. But they were both.
Would you call it a meet cute?
A meet cute. That's what they call it. You know, you get in a situation and it's kind of quirky, and the circumstance means that you're going to have a strong bond.
Okay, it's like that. It's like, okay, well, this is going to work because it was such a crazy story how they met.
Yeah, they were both students at San Diego State, and Ephraim was playing on the football team, and he would go to the supermarket and buy his groceries, and the guy that bagged his groceries all the time was Chester. And they got to talking one day, and Ephraim had a really nice car, and Chester was like, "That's a great car. How do you get a car like that?" And Ephraim said, "You got to play football." And Chester said, "Okay, I'll play football." And it turns out he'd played a little bit in high school, but he was more of a band geek. And he walked onto the team, ended up being way better than Ephraim, and eventually they both got drafted into the NFL, and after a couple of years wound up on the same team for a while.
Yeah. Now, Nick Fishman in the chat is saying it's Ephraim, not Ephraim.
Ephraim. Okay.
Ephraim. Okay. So
He says so. I'm not a football person.
we'll try that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither one of these guys were big deal NFL players. For the record, I know that sometimes it's like if you're not a sports fan, it's hard to tell. Like, oh, this guy's a former, and like I didn't know anything about the hockey players from last year. I didn't know if those guys were all-stars or complete scrubs. But these guys are probably a little closer to the not all-star caliber player.
Okay, I felt like I got the sense that they were. I got the sense they were a little more famous than Bates and Anthony, but
yeah, probably a little bit, but that's probably not saying much.
Yeah, on a scale of like Bates and Anthony to on a scale of Bates and Anthony to Jimmy Johnson, they're like well below Jeff Kent.
Yeah, I'd say so, but they seem like fun guys.
Yeah, I like them. I feel like I know a lot about them, and that makes me like them.
Yeah, and I think that they will be fun to watch, but I do not think that they have a shot here to go the distance.
Yeah, I have a feeling that for as long as they're on, we're going to see a lot of them, but I don't know how long that's going to last. We're going to be sorry when they're eliminated.
Yeah, I see a point where there's like a dance that has to be choreographed, and one of them is like trying to do it over and over, and the other one is like besides themselves, like, oh my god. And you're like going over and over and over and trying to do it again. Could be a Mark and Bopper situation here.
Yeah, I feel like if we're gonna put up some Amazing Race prop bets, we gotta go with we gotta figure out who's the team that is most likely to quit a task and take a penalty, and I think it might be these guys.
Oh, and then we'll also need to know which professional sports representative team goes furthest. Whether you want to go hockey, baseball, or NFL.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a multi-sport pileup in here.
Yeah, so I think we like these guys. We think they're going to be fun, but they probably won't go too far into the game.
Yeah, I don't see them winning.
Yeah. Do you think that they will be able to recapture any of the magic of the hockey players from last season, or will the fact that the hockey players won last season make these guys targets?
Well, insofar as someone can be a target on The Amazing Race, I think they are obvious targets because A, they're professional athletes, and B, they're bigger than everybody else, so they kind of stand out.
Yeah. So, all right, well, we'll see what happens with Chester and Ephraim and see how far they go. Okay, now here's another one, another team that we might have some trouble pronouncing their names. We're going to go with HB and Nina. Is that her name?
Nina, I think.
Nina.
I watched the video. They're Haskote and Nina, I think.
Okay,
I watched the video yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take him up on that offer and call him HB. And they are father and daughter.
Wasn't HB also Siri's husband on Survivor?
That's a good memory. Well, yes, I mean, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And so, yes, and a very ethnically diverse cast of The Amazing Race this season.
Yeah, well, that's always a good thing.
Yes, that's gonna be fun. So HB and Nina, that he seems like a somewhat of a strict dad.
Yeah, I don't think he's like a mean dad. I think he's just very demanding. Like, yeah. I get the sense he's the kind of dad who would say things like, well, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Yes.
Like, you get a lot of that.
Yes, he seems also like a worst-case scenario if you were to date Nina to when she says, well, I'd really like you to meet my parents. This is probably one of the worst outcomes you could hope for because he seems like he's going to be quite a ball breaker.
Yeah, that's certainly possible.
Yes. Is Nina single?
I don't know. I think she is, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, only 27. Only 27.
Yeah, well, you know the situation that I like the best is when there's a parent-child team and the child gets involved in a showmance. Like, how awkward is that? It's one of my favorite things.
It is awkward, but I guarantee you, as long as HB is around, Nina is not showmancing on this Amazing Race. And But the fact I don't see a significant other at this point, I wonder if this is a factor. The very overprotective HB in the picture.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't mentioned one, but maybe she's trying to keep it from him.
Yeah. Will Olson in the chat room calls her Brooklyn Nine-Nina. I like that.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
That could stick. All right. So the history of father and daughter teams on The Amazing Race, Jessica, is it a good one?
Oh, we've had some father-daughter teams that have done all right. In recent years, we had Ron and Christina, who I felt like that's the dynamic that these guys reminded me of. Maybe a little less intense and a little more passive-aggressive, but Ron and Christina got second place in their season, and they got asked back for an all-star season, so I think it bodes well.
I worry about HB on the race because I watched in their video and they were talking about he's like, hey, I am a doctor in the ER, and I guess there's a lot of that going around this season, and he's like, I'm the only doctor there, and whatever I say does. Nobody questions me, and it seems like there is going to be a point where there is a decision that needs to be made, and they may have disagreements on this decision that has to be made, and I could see it erupting into a large conflict.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see them getting eliminated because of something he did, and then they'll have this like touching moment where she says, "You could never let me down, Dad."
No, well, that would be nice.
And then he's going to blame himself, and he'll have a real teachable moment there.
All right. Give me the spot in the show where they go out. How many people are left when HB and Nina are eliminated? Assume they don't win.
I think they go out 6th or 7th.
Yeah. I think they'll be tough while they're out there, but I feel like they just don't have what it takes to get to the end here.
Yeah, no, they're definitely a middle-of-the-pack team.
All right, well, let's go to our 5th team, which is Jason and Amy dating Bostonians.
Ooh, a dating couple.
Boy,
So rare.
Yes. Boy, those people from Boston are always so feisty on these reality shows.
Yeah, I mean,
There must be
makes for
something
good
in the water
television.
there. It makes them so competitive, everybody from Boston.
Yeah, it's got the Red Sox and Matt Damon, and I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of so what, you think you're better than me?